everyone, I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. Welcome to Quilting Window. We are on our second week of Alaska Rainbow Quilt Along. I am so thankful you took the time and wanted to quilt with me. Did you have fun last week? Did you finish your blocks? We did a block number 1 and block number 3. Oh, do I have a fun thing prepared for you. Today, we're gonna try something a little bit more difficult. We're gonna do block number 2, and then I'm gonna give you a little break and see if you have listened to our first lesson, and we're gonna do a block number 9. You probably wonder why I'm jumping and choosing all these different blocks. I want you to have learned something new, but also refresh what we have learned from last week. So let's go and see if we can pull up our blocks from our box. What a cutie. This pre-cut kit has been so much fun, don't you agree? So block number 2 and block number 9 are front of me. We're gonna start with block number 2. If you're cutting your own fabric, please watch our video number 1 for the first week, and I showed you exactly how to cut your pieces. You're gonna need a pattern to follow and templates. But let's get going. We have a lot of to do today. So we are gonna pull up all the beautiful pieces that we need for our block number 2. We're gonna need a D triangles for the corners. We're gonna need a C wedges right here. Perfect. Then I'm gonna need, and I'm looking at the design, I'm looking at my pattern at the design and laying the pieces. Please open your pattern. In the pattern, each block has a beautiful color picture. Follow those pictures. That way you can do everything that I'm doing right now. I put a little beautiful blue diamond right there, then a teal one on each side. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. And if you ever have been afraid of diamonds, this is the easiest way to do them. Do not worry. I got you. I got you. This is why we have a quilt along, so we can help each other succeed. All right, so we have all the pieces. Notice that I have 2 blue C's, dark blue, that's beautiful, and a lighter blue for the corner. All our pieces are in place. We're gonna start by making this unit right here. This unit right here. So what I need you to do is take one of the diamonds, then I'm gonna go ahead and grab a triangle, and I'm gonna position this way, right there, just like this. And you probably wonder, how did I match this up? I wanna make sure that this line is my guiding place, that my point comes right to this line, right there. And also, remember our templates? You can go ahead, place the template, put a point right here, then again take a template and put a point right there. So I would have take this, put a point, then I know exactly where to sew, and I would go ahead and take my beautiful pin and put it right in that point, and now I can go ahead and sew it. I already sewn a few of those, so I know that this line right here, this line is gonna be a guiding point for me, that this right here needs to match exactly. I'm gonna straight sew straight down. As soon as I finish, I'm gonna open that seam, and I'm gonna go ahead and place this unit right over, sew it. All right, let me show you some that I already done it. And don't forget, as soon as you finish this, you're gonna go ahead and place this piece over this one, and we have learned this with our week number 1, and sew it straight down. Okay, let me show you some that I already prepared for you, so that way you have a better idea. Oh, look at this. Isn't that wonderful? Let me turn it over. I open both of the seams. Perfect. This is done. This is done. So I have finished those. Each one I matched it, sew it, flip it, made sure I opened that seam in the back. Very important. I wanted everything to look wonderful. Oh, this is delightful. This is looking really good. And you know, as I make every quilt that I do, I learn something new and exciting. And sometimes you have to change some things as you're working on your project. Depends on the fabric. And my first Alaska was just 6 fabrics, blue and white, super easy. So everything went fine. Then I went for different Alaska. This time we have 20 some colors in it. So paying attention where the colors are going, following one block at a time, very important. I want you to do that. And also paying attention to how the fabric reacts. Does anything comes right through it? Do we need to do extra trimming? And sometimes what I like to do, I put it over a light background, and then I can see, oh, look at tiny bit of green peeking, this teal peeking right through. So I would have maybe take scissors and trim just a tiny bit of that bunny ears so nothing peeks through. So I have a beautiful quilt and it looks just delightful. As soon as you finish those areas, you're gonna go ahead, place this right sides together just like this, sew it from here straight down. If you don't know where to sew, again, use your template, mark. Now you know where to connect the dots, where to sew. You're gonna finish this, open it up, that seam would be open, this to this, this to this, this to this, and now you have 4 corners of your block. And I already have done that for you. Look at how delightful. 4 beautiful corners. That sounds wonderful. I have not pressed this. I only finger press. So you see a little waves here because I have not pressed anything. I only used that little presser and I just did this really nice and hard because I don't want to touch with an iron yet. I don't want the fabric to wave. I don't want it to shrink or change. And now I'm gonna go ahead and sew this to this just like that. Okay, make 2 halves, put a pin where that center is. Remember, we're gonna pull the center right here. Look at it, wonderful. So notice how our first lesson, everything that we learned from the first kaleidoscope block, it's repeating now through all of our blocks. We're gonna beautifully pin it, sew it, do the same thing right here, fold it together. Let me show you that center. You again remember, pull it back just like this. Isn't it delightful? Pin it, sew it, flip it open. Now you have 2 halves and 2 halves put together, make this beautiful block. Look at this. Open that seam in the back. Everything looks delightful. Now just beautifully press it and you have a wonderful block. And this is block number 2 that is gonna fit perfectly in a quilt. As you're making your blocks, you're gonna notice that all your blocks are just exactly as they're supposed to be, and you don't have to do much trimming or anything. If you're using shy 1/4 inch seam allowance, your blocks may be tiny bit bigger. If you're using exact 1/4 inch seam allowance, they're perfect. If you're using a little bit bigger 1/4 inch seam allowance, your blocks maybe got smaller. But remember, if you're sewing all of the blocks, you're sewing them on the same sewing machine, they're all going to work with each other. So do not worry about anything else. Just keep making your blocks, and you work so hard on your block number 2. You made those beautiful points. Guess what? Your block number 9, your next block is gonna be super fun and easy. That block is right here in the quilt. Notice block number 9, and it has a light triangle D, green triangle D, a light, they call it pickle triangle D. Isn't a cute name? I love yucky green and pickle, the 2 favorite greens that I have. We have that gray low background, really nice. We want it for those shadows, and then we have the cream that goes right in between. We're gonna lay out all our pieces, so when you open your package like this, pull it all out, lay it out, make sure that all your pieces are there. If you ever missing anything, please don't hesitate. Always email me, because guess what? I want to help you. I want to make sure that your blocks are just amazing. I love hearing from you. So please make sure you have everything that you needed. Lay out your block, and now remember the routine. Let me refresh it for you. You're gonna grab piece number D and place it right over, sew it, sew it, sew it right here. Super. Another one. Tell me what you're gonna do next. Yes, you're gonna open those seams, and as soon as you open those seams, what are you going to do? You are gonna have ton of fun. So look at this. I finished sewing. I'm gonna open the seam in the back, just like this. Open it up. I love my low tool. Look, as I rub it, oh, this is gonna be great. I have my first piece. I'm not worried about anything else, just one low seam at a time. I just finished all of those, and then I'm gonna place this wedge right here, sew it, and look at, as soon as I finish sewing again, I'm gonna go ahead and open the seam, and this is gonna make a quarter of the block. So look how nice it looks. So as soon as you finish corners, you place those right sides together, sew it, flip it open, open the seam, open. You have 4 corners. Now you're gonna go ahead, sew 2 at a time, 2 together, just like this. Make sure you match your point right here. This seam needs to match perfectly. Sew it straight down, and I like to start from here straight down. Why do I start here and go out? Because this is important to me. I want to have nice centers. So when I mark where there is this point, where there is the center, I want to make sure I sew it straight right out. Do the same right here. Open the seams in between. Super. Let me show you. I just finished those. Right, just like this. So let's open it up. Perfect. Yes. Oh, this is gonna be beautiful. Aren't you just excited? Guess what? We're gonna have 4 blocks done. 4 times 4, 16 total blocks. 4 block design. Open that seam. This is gonna fly. I love this quilt. This is a 4th time I'm making this quilt. It's 4th time, and I usually don't make the same quilt over and over, but I have to tell you, every time I'm making this quilt, I am just blown away how beautiful it looks. And guess what? I have a tiny surprise for you today, so be patient. I brought something from home to show you. As soon as you finish, open the seam. Now pin and pin, and you have a wonderful seam. You now have to sew it. We're gonna start in the center, sew it out, start in the center, sew it out, and as soon as you finish, look at this. Wonderful. Let's flip it to the back. Notice seam is open. We're doing this time. In the pattern, it shows you push one direction, but this, we're doing it because we worry about the fabric showing right through. So we want a really good transition. We want all the seams to be flat. We're not worried about locking the seams. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. It's more important for us that the fabric doesn't show through the seams, and that's what I wanted for you. As soon as you finish that block, you are ready to relax and enjoy, and I'm gonna get to see you for next week for the next blocks. And remember, I promise you a little surprise. You probably wonder, how is that scrappy quilt coming along that we're making from those bundles? Look at those beautiful bundles. This is our Color Splash roll. I'm using this bundle as well as our Olive Branch bundle, Fat Quarter bundle, and I'm using Almond bundle. And this is the quilt that I'm making at home. This is my scrappy quilt, and guess what? My son Michael already put his name on it. He said, "Mom, this is so beautiful. I want it." And I want to show you some of the blocks from it. So the blocks that we did today, notice it. This is our block right here, block number 9. I have that one done. And notice it, how beautiful the block number 2 looks. Oh, a low thread on it. block number 2. Look at how different. And what I did is I am doing this Moa Scrappy. So visit our blog on our website, and that way you can see how I dedicate which fabric goes where and how I'm cutting and what I'm doing for those blocks and how wonderful they look. So go visit our blog. You get to see the regular quilt and always a picture from the scrappy one, so maybe inspire you how to create a scrappy kit, a scrappy Alaska rainbow quilt. So have a wonderful, wonderful time. Thank you so much for stopping. Please don't forget, visit our website to see the blog, but also for any of your needs. And if you would like to, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I am so thankful that you took the time and wanted to quilt with me today. Happy quilting! Stay safe out there.